Welcome to Cosmic Diaries. This is Priyakala, your astrologer, and we're heading into a passionate full moon week. There's a full moon in Aries on the 17th of October, and this one is in a mutual reception with Mars in Cancer, which is also the ruler of the moon in Aries, as well as makes a grand cross with Mars and Pluto. So the wheels are in motion, and this full moon is setting off a chain of events that will carry us through the winter, or if you're down under, then through the summer and all the way into May next year. Because with Mars now in shadow phase, we will be recovering this territory at least 2 more times between now and the end of May. So pay attention to what's unfolding, and definitely pay attention to where you have Aries in your chart, because matters of that house are being highlighted and there are passionate emotions arising. Our relationships are in focus, and there's a need for balance between our needs and the needs of others in our life. So move with awareness. And we're going to get into the week day by day and unpack the aspects. But before I begin, thank you so much for being here, and for everyone who's subscribed to the channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, I do appreciate your support so I can keep making more videos and audios. So I hope you subscribe and stick around. But with that, let's begin. So we're looking at the astrology now for the week beginning October 16th to October 22nd, when the sun leaves Libra to enter Scorpio. So this is also the sun's final week in Libra now. Starting with the 16th, and the moon is moving through Aries on the 16th, and we're going to the full moon on the 17th of October. There are no major aspects taking place in the sky, which means that we have a quiet day to ourselves. And I would suggest that on the 16th, take some time for self-reflection as the moon grows full, and reflect on your desires and what you want and what you need, and where perhaps you need to find a balance within yourself first before you can find that balance and harmony with others in your life. The sun is in Libra, and Venus, the ruler of the sun in Libra, has recently passed an opposition to Uranus and a trine to Neptune. And there's been a wake-up call. We've had to wake up from surface level attachments and to dive deeper into our hearts, to really learn the truth about something, someone, or at least our own desires and dreams. The energy is romantic and creative and passionate and lucrative and seductive, sexual and intimate, and fun and playful even. But if for any reason you're not enjoying this energy, release your emotions consciously and avoid reacting to situations and circumstances around you. Non-reaction really is the key to conscious, creative choices, and a little patience will go a long way at this time. So if at all you're being triggered, try to take a deep breath, count to 10, and pause before you react or have a knee-jerk reaction to something or kick into fight or flight mode. This really is a chance to break free of those patterns and respond to life in a more balanced, creative way, conscious way. Because there are major choices arising with this full moon. Life is bringing us to a crossroads and the wheels are turning. As I mentioned before, what happens now, we're setting into motion a chain of events, which is actually really already begun. But there are powerful revelations coming through, presenting us with those life-altering choices. And what we decide now ultimately will shape the course of our future and our destiny. And certainly for the coming 6 months or so, you can avoid a lot of unnecessary stress and emotional turmoil in the long run if you can practice a little bit of self-awareness right now. Because on the 17th, as the full moon aligns, there are major aspects developing. The moon sextiles Jupiter, then squares Mars, and will oppose the sun at exactly 7:27 a.m. in New York, marking the full moon in Aries. And then just an hour after the full moon, Venus makes an exact sextile to Pluto. Then the moon squares Pluto at 3:27 p.m. And then Venus will enter Sagittarius at 3:28 p.m., just a minute after that. And then the moon enters Taurus at 3:59 p.m. So this feels like just a domino effect, and igniting our passions and heightening our emotions and sensitivity. Everyone's feeling sensitive at this time, so tread lightly. I'm not saying walk on eggshells, but a balanced approach is key. Significantly, this moon is also conjunct Chiron. This suggests that there's a profound potential here for healing on a personal level as well as within our connections. But of course, it always starts with the self. Whatever else is surfacing at this time, make time to self reflect and deepen your primary relationship with yourself, because all other relationships stem from that relationship. And with the moon conjunct Chiron right now, there are deep, powerful emotions arising that may have their roots deep in the past. And if there are any painful emotions arising, or heavier emotions arising, or wounds, or fears, abandonment wounds, mistrust, anger, resentment, pain, trauma, or if you're feeling triggered by anything, this is a chance to really heal from the source and to let go of those fears and childhood patterns and unconscious patterns which cause us to self-sabotage. Especially if there's any avoid projection, then you can make conscious choices rather than having a knee-jerk reaction and cutting off the branch you're sitting on, in a sense. We're letting go of ancient conditioning and perhaps relationship dynamics that we've seen played out between our parents and caregivers. Pluto is now at the end at 29 degrees of Capricorn, and Venus sextiles Pluto just after this full moon. So this really is a chance to release those old patterns so we can connect with others authentically as we are today, rather than repeating cycles unconsciously. Full moons mark endings, and over the next 2 weeks, as the moon wanes, we're in a process of releasing emotions, letting go of old cycles, so we can create space for a powerful, potent renewal that's coming up with the Scorpio new moon on the 1st of November. And this new moon, it's taking us to the knife's edge of our comfort zone. And so brace yourselves. This is not for the faint-hearted, but we can expect a total renewal. So consider the next couple of weeks to be a really powerful time to empty out and let go of anything that's painful, and to reconnect with that inner childlike trust in the universe and your innermost sense of being. As this full moon aligns, definitely ask yourself, what makes you feel alive? Who makes you come alive? What makes you happy? What truly brings you a sense of joy and inner peace and satisfaction? Be true to yourself above all, because with Libra, the danger is people pleasing. There's no room for that here, because you can't sustain situations that way, and definitely not the way the planets are aligned right now. And if you're caught in a challenging dynamic, recognize that you can't change anyone else, but we can pay attention to what we're bringing to the table. And the more we can let go of our baggage, it'll be easier to find that inner sense of equilibrium within ourselves, and peace within ourselves, and then with others in our life. With Venus sextile Pluto just after the full moon, relationships are transforming on a deep and profound level, on the surface and deep beneath the surface as well. And there's no turning back from here, nor would we want to, given everything that we've learned, not only over the past couple of weeks, but given this is Venus's final aspect to Pluto before Pluto leaves Capricorn. This is about letting go of conditioning surrounding our relationships and embodying everything that we've learned since 2008. So this is a dual process, and we're releasing ancient conditioning that's been handed down to us by parents, society, culture, especially surrounding relationships and what they should look like and the roles that people play in relationships. And this is a paradigm shift for us personally, individually in our lives, as well as on a collective level. The world is changing. Aries also speaks of themes of war. Mars is the god of war. So on a collective scale as well, we're going to see this in the news, but on a personal level as well, the message is clear, make love, not war. Libra reminds us that ultimately relationships are a mirror to the self, and unless everyone wins, everyone loses. So there's a need for fairness and equality and honesty. So everybody has the freedom to make their own choices. And we couldn't really be happy at the expense of someone else. So it's not about making selfish choices, but ultimately, unless we're truly happy, we can't really give our best to anyone or anything in our life. So there's a need for fearlessness and innocence and trust in ourselves and what we're capable of, and trust in the universe that whatever's unfolding is for you and not happening to you. And the relationships in your life right now are mirroring an important truth to you about yourself. With self reflection, this is a chance to deepen important bonds and trust in your relationships, as well as deepen intimacy. So, in your personal romantic connections as well, this energy is very seductive and sexual and intimate. It's just about making conscious choices of how we engage. Be true to your integrity and your values, and then allow space for the changes to unfold within you and around you. And the less you can you cling to anything or try to control anything or hold on to anything that's changing, the easier transition and transformation will be. And the easier it will be to find balance again with others. As counterintuitive as it may feel, less is more at this time. Aries ultimately is the energy that speaks of being rather than doing. And when it comes to doing, think about actions speaking louder than words. So pay attention to how people show up in your life, and pay attention to how you're showing up for others as well, and in your own life for yourself. If you say you want something, do your actions reflect that? There's a need for alignment in thought, word, and deed, because our choices are creating our reality right now. After Venus makes a sextile to Pluto, which is bringing a powerful transformation in financial matters, again, relationships, all creative situations, as well as all matters of the heart. The energy is very rich and lucrative and sensual and sexual and seductive. But Pluto reminds us to let go of our attachment to the material world. So in this case, certainly we're having to let go of our attachments to success and failure and what something looks like and what relationships should look like, and move past all our conditioning and move through this really alchemical purification process to get to the heart of our values and our integrity and what's purely golden in a situation. And that's what the aspects are revealing to us now. What's golden and what's worth preserving, and what's dead and done, dusted and gone and needs to be left behind. Because just later that day, Venus, still the ruler of the sun in Libra, changes signs from Scorpio, which is a Mars ruled sign again. So we're under this very full moon energy ruled by Mars, in a mutual reception with Mars. Very passionate, fiery, sexual, primal emotions that are arising. Desires and perhaps even fears. Just consciously rise above any fears and let go of any painful emotions. Reach for your desires, but let go of outcomes. Then you can magnetize whatever you want to you and attract into your world the relationships that are right for you and that give back to you equally as much as you give to them. We are deepening relationships with powerful equals. So just know where you stand, and then trust you can meet others halfway. And where you need to find the strength to walk away from something, you can have that too. And you needn't fear losing anything or anyone that you love or that's right for you. If something's right for you, you'll meet it further down the road. With Venus in Scorpio and Pluto in Capricorn, surrender is the way forward. Then immediately after the Venus-Pluto sextile, the moon squares Pluto, and then Venus enters Sagittarius and the moon enters Taurus. So with the moon square Pluto, we're reaching a powerful turning point, and Venus enters Sagittarius a minute after this aspect. So this feels like a powerful emotional release, and we're breaking free of old patterns or situations we felt stuck in. As soon as Venus enters Sagittarius, she'll be transiting there for until November 11th. But the mood shifts, because Venus also rules the sun in Libra. And shortly after, the moon enters Taurus, which is also Venus's sign. So we're balancing out from this very Martian, passionate, fiery, intense energy to feeling a lot more hopeful and lighter at best, and with the moon entering Taurus, hopefully also grounded. So however this is playing out for you, With Venus in Sagittarius until the 11th of November, keep the big picture in mind. Our hearts are expanding and we're being drawn to explore new horizons and explore new territory in our relationships, in financial matters, creative situations, all Venusian rule matters. There's a need to be philosophical and open to discovery. And we're discovering rare and valuable treasures. And at best, we're feeling a lot more optimistic and hopeful. So keep your eyes on the prize as you move forward from this full moon. And as revelations continue to come through and you start to learn what's real and what's truly valuable and precious. On the 18th, the moon continues to move through Taurus. It will oppose Mercury and sextile Saturn. We're learning important truths and information. Mercury is now in Scorpio, and we may be having important conversations at this time, or at least coming to deep realizations about our values and our connections and what matters to us. Get real with yourself, then it'll be easier to communicate with others. And again, everything is negotiable, but know your bottom line and recognize it's never worth compromising your values for anything or anyone. So trust your gut instincts at this point. With the moon making a sextile to Saturn, there are revelations coming through, but what we're learning is helping us stabilize situations, and hopefully we can see that life is stabilizing around us and balancing out at best. And we're learning who and what we can lean on for support when we need it. With the moon in Taurus, definitely the energy is very sensual, and it's a time to really connect with the people that are most important to you and to enjoy life's sensual pleasures. So it's a great night for a date or to have those deep conversations with a partner even, and spend quality time with the people that you love. And if you're still feeling intense after the full moon, it's a great day to really get grounded in nature, take a bath, take care of your physical body and health, and connect with your senses and come back to the present moment and present reality. Then it'll be easier to deal with whatever it is that you need to deal with in a grounded way, in a balanced way. And with the moon in Taurus, we may be even dealing with financial matters and contractual obligations that are now changing, or so there's a greater sense of fairness. And so dig deep for your values, then you can align with others who share your values and you can deepen significant bonds. Be clear on your bottom line, then it'll be easier to negotiate and come to a fair agreement and arrangement with others. With Venus, the ruler of both the sun and moon at the moment, sun in Libra, moon in Taurus, Venus being in Sagittarius, keep the big picture in mind. Be kind, be generous where you can be big-hearted, and take the high road where you can. And be willing to lend a helping hand when you can. A small, kind gesture could change someone's life in ways that you would never imagine. Also, Venus in Sagittarius is a great reminder to have faith and have faith in the journey and to practice temperance. And with the moon in Taurus, there's a need for patience, and the sun in Libra is asking for balance and harmony. Love is patient, love is kind. So remember these things as you interact with others, because we are deepening significant connections and finding what we truly value in our connections, and vice versa. And we're deepening connections with others who really truly see us for who we are. Because with the full moon coming down from Aries, this really is about us learning to be ourselves and to dare to show up authentically, and then trusting that we'll attract the right people and the right relationships for us that appreciate and see us for who we truly are, and not some mask that we feel like we need to wear. The moon continues to move through Taurus on the 19th. It will sextile Mars early in the morning and then conjunct Uranus, and it feels like we're getting a head start to the day, and depending on, of course, where you are. But this feels like a burst of energy. There could be a few unpredictable developments, but this feels more like an emotional breakthrough, an inner emotional breakthrough where we're feeling at best liberated. But the energy is creative and sensual, definitely, and inspired. So the moon does sextile Neptune later and trine Pluto. So we're really giving shape to our dreams and our life. Take time to stop and smell the roses and And love and romance are certainly in the air. So if there's someone that you care about, then it's really a good time to let them know how you feel. We may also be dealing with financial matters, but things are stabilizing and relationships are deepening and getting grounded, or at the very least, we're getting in touch with our values and what's important to us. Because once the moon enters Gemini, later that day on the 19th, we're facing important choices and communication is opening up. The moon opposes Venus later that evening. This is a great time to have a heart to heart with someone if you need to, or at least keep an open heart and open mind with whatever's unfolding, and to learn to listen and see with the eyes of the heart and to speak from the heart. We're coming to deep realizations about our own hearts and what we want. And if there's a sense of feeling divided about something, first of all, recognize that you can't really think your way out of your emotions. With the moon in Gemini, there could be that tendency to see things in black and white or want to try and analyze our feelings, but or understand them logically, but recognize the heart is rarely logical. And the choices we face now, there is no wrong choice, but what matters is that we're making choices from the heart. Then trust that your choices will work for everything and everyone you care about. On the 20th, the moon continues to move through Gemini, will square Saturn. As the moon squares Saturn, there definitely is a sense of us turning a corner from a difficult situation. There's a need for inner resilience and honesty with ourselves. Take time to clarify your goals, your dreams, your ambitions, your limits, as well as the walls that you're taking down, and acknowledge your authority to make the choices in your life that work for you. Something that you're trying to manifest or materialize is possible and a dream is within reach, but it will take time and there's a need for discernment. So we don't bite off more than we can chew, because the moon conjuncts Jupiter soon after on the 21st, and then will square Neptune and then trine the sun before it enters Cancer on the 21st. So on the 21st as well, we're facing huge choices. If there's any sense of confusion or feeling like you're going around in circles, clarity will return as the sun trines the moon later in the evening on the 21st. But with the moon conjunct Jupiter and square Neptune, move inward to first connect with your inner compass and your inner wisdom. Then it'll be easier to connect with others and communicate honestly and find middle ground. Once the moon enters Cancer, we're diving into our feelings, and there are no other aspects taking place on the 21st after the moon enters Cancer. And the moon makes no aspects on the 22nd either, but there are major aspects taking place between the planets, and these are the sun's final hours in Libra. So all through the 21st, it's the sun's final day in Libra. We're facing those life-altering choices. So on the 22nd, the moon is moving through Cancer. We're in our emotions and feelings, but Mercury trines Saturn, and then the sun squares Pluto before it enters Scorpio. So with Mercury trine Saturn, communication is stabilizing. We're reaching a deep understanding and learning deep truths. There's a need to let go of our perceptions and our beliefs and our opinions. Then we can truly start to see the truth. And with Mercury in Scorpio, the information that we're learning now has been veiled or isn't all on the surface. There's a lot more that's happening intuitively and psychically as well. So trust your intuition by all means, but where possible, seek clear communication. And we are finding clarity, which is then bringing us to that crossroads of reclaiming our power to make those choices in our life. Because as the sun squares Pluto, this is the sun's final aspect to Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn, and we're at a very significant turning point from where we were even at the beginning of the year in January, around mid to late January. Pluto will not return to Capricorn in our lifetimes, and the sun represents our primary consciousness. So, and squares call for an inner resolution. Pluto speaks of power, and this really is a chance for us to reclaim our power, to make choices in our life that work for us, and to let go of expectations of others and of society, and to dare to live authentically and be true to ourselves as we are today and who we're becoming. because we're not who we were even 2 weeks ago, let alone a year ago or since 2008 when Pluto first entered Capricorn. And this really is a chance to embody all the lessons that you've learned since then and evolve as you step forward on your journey. And speaking of evolution, just after the Sun squares Pluto, it enters Scorpio, which is the sign of power, and Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio. Mars is the traditional ruler. So with the Sun entering Scorpio, the energy is shifting, life is getting more mysterious, the veils are thinning, the plot is thickening, and we're being called into deep surrender. Over the next 4 weeks, the Sun will be moving through Scorpio, and life is changing on a deep, deep level, visibly and certainly behind the scenes. And we're moving to a life-changing, potent Scorpio new moon on November 1st, bringing a total resurrection, testing our depth and our resilience. And this is an ego death and a deep soul purification that's underway. So I'll have more to say about this and as the moon continues to wane next week. But as you can see, it's a powerful week. Things are shifting. It starts off with a fiery, passionate Aries full moon, which brings a powerful emotional release. But after that, things start to ease up and settle down and stabilize, and relationships are deepening and stabilizing and evolving. And there's real tangible potential here. And certainly we are at the end of a cycle with the Aries full moon. But every end is a new beginning, and this is just a chance to heal from the source and put an end to old, painful patterns and cycles and fears and wounds that keep us trapped in the past. And the more we can let go of our heavier emotions consciously, we can steer our course to our future and shape our future with greater awareness and self-awareness, so it mirrors that inner truth. And as much as our relationships are coming into focus, it all begins with our primary relationship with ourselves. There's a need for total alignment as we move through this week. As the week progresses, the moon moves through Taurus, things are stabilizing, connections are deepening and solidifying at best, and we're becoming clear on our values and what really matters to us in our connections, financially, in all situations. Once the moon enters Gemini, we have choices to make, important choices, and there's no turning back from here, but we are moving ahead one way or the other, and it would help to get aligned with yourself and what you want. Then you can make choices accordingly. And then, of course, at the end of the week, the moon enters Cancer, and Mercury trines Saturn, the Sun squares Pluto before it enters Scorpio, bringing another significant shift in the energy around the 21st, 22nd, when we're diving deeper, moving from airy Libran energy, where things are social and everyone's being nice, quote unquote. Now, once the Sun enters Scorpio, things start to get really real, and life is changing. And the more we can surrender to the changes that are unfolding, and dive into the depths of our emotions and life around us, even, the greater and the rarer treasures we stand to uncover. So it's an exciting week ahead. There are powerful revelations coming through. Be true to yourself above all. And Aries is a sign that rules the child and children. Above all, what's needed now is childlike trust in the universe, and knowing that the universe is like a divine mother that knows what we need better than we do. So have faith in that, trust that, and then trust you'll be guided to where you need to go. Trust your instincts. So with that said, I'll stop here for now, but I send you my love with the moon wherever you are. This is Priya signing off from New York. Thank you for listening as always. Bye for now. Namaste.